What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for the live post-match pint. After Hibs won, Celtic 2 at Hampden, we've won the 2021 Scottish League Cup. I've got Kevin and Kenny with me. We're on the roof at Malone's Bar. If you're in the area, get involved. It's a brilliant atmosphere down the stair. Kevin, we'll start with you, mate. What a day. What a brilliant, entertaining game, particularly in the second half. But what an afternoon, what a way to win it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one word, it's Kyogo, and I mean that's what we're going to speak about. But it was a great final, came to life in the second half, but just absolutely two great pieces of play to win a final, and that's what we're wanting. It was, someone also mentioned earlier, it was Larson-esque. It was a Larson-esque performance.
We'll get to that,
you know, but it was fantastic and a great way for Ange to start his legacy and era at Celtic, and long may it continue. Absolutely.
Kenny, what do you make of the game? I thought in the first half we were really dominant, but we couldn't really carve out any clear-cut chances there.
Yeah, I was surprised at their approach because in the semi-final they were 3-0 up on Rangers after 35 minutes, so I thought they would come at us. Okay, they're a manager down, but I thought they would come at us. They didn't. They sat in as if they were at Parkhead, and that made the game stuffy, and I didn't think it wasn't a great performance from us, particularly in that first half. We get nothing out the wide areas. I think Abada was weak, Mikey Johnson was weak, Greg Taylor's not really offering any overlap. We're not really getting into a right back either. So everything's sort of coming through the middle, and unless you're really on song through the middle, you can't create anything. And I don't even know if we had a shot on goal in that first half. But today's not about individual performances. It's a box office game, right? And what you're relying on in box office games, box office players. Now, Kyogo Furuhashi is untested, I would suggest, at a top. In a real high-level box office game, Kyogo Furuhashi is untested. This is a coming-of-age day for Furuhashi. Because, okay, he might have won stuff in Japan. I've not followed his career up until this point. He's done brilliant for us up until this point. But there's a difference when you walk out in Hampden in a cup final and there's silverware on the line and you're a goal behind and you're under pressure, and he rises to the occasion unbelievably. He's only two chances in that entire game, and he's buried both of them. And he's got us out a bit of a hole, and it was all about him today. We've probably sort of prematurely gone over his performance, but it was a bit of a stuffy game for Celtic. But if you think about what Postecoglou inherited 4 or 5 months ago, we spoke after Hearts beat Celtic 2-1, and we were talking about, can we come up with some sort of credibility this season? Mm-hmm. Credibility being, is it a title race? Can we just save face? That was really what we'd hoped. And within 4.5 months, he's won a trophy. Incredible stuff. And the team deserve a lot of credit because they've come through with a lot of grit in recent times with 1-0 victories, but today they've come through with a lot of steel under pressure in a cup final. And that's a defining moment, I think, in terms of the squad.
Aye, absolutely. I think collectively it's massive for everybody involved, Kevin. From a confidence point of view, winning trophies, regardless of whether it's a League Cup, the league, whatever it is, it breeds more success, and it breeds more belief in what the players are doing. Yeah, breeds more belief in the manager's message. We did go behind in the game today, though. A corner kick again. We just talked about that during the week, didn't we? In terms of losing the goal at Ross County to a corner kick, we lose another one today. And going behind, I was panicking when that goal went in because see, going behind this season, we've not got a great record. No. We've only went behind on a couple of occasions, but we haven't really come back to win. But the response, it couldn't have been any more instant. Like, we literally take kick off, the ball goes out to McGregor, he plays a lovely curveball through to Kyogo, and the touch, just watching the touch back before we come on there, the touch to control on his left foot, slot it past Macy, it's top class.
Yeah, I mean, the ball from McGregor is brilliant as well. You've got to credit that assist, but the touch and the finish, to even get it in the near post, I mean, from my memory, I thought it was actually the far post, but to get it in the near post just shows you the retaliation that we had in us, and then that put Hibs right in the back foot. They were not expecting us to come back so soon, and then I felt there was only really one team that was going for it and to get the winner. But it's just Kyogo. The touch again is brilliant, but the second is just, you know, I mean, there's no words to describe it. There really isn't. We could be here all night and we still would run out of superlatives to go over it, but it's just a fantastic finish and a fantastic performance.
Aye. See just on Kyogo, right, we can come and talk in detail about his performance now. I'll talk about a few other individual performances today because there was a few standouts. But Kenny, we talked to Callum outside the stadium, and the second goal's Larsson-esque, right? That's the phrase that comes to your mind straight away because we've seen it so many times, and you associate a lob with Henrik Larsson immediately, right? And we can't compare him to Henrik Larsson. Martin said this. Of course you can't compare him to Henrik Larsson. But in a cup final, as you say, he got 2 chances in the game, 2 pieces of absolute magic. And if I think about the strikers that Celtic have had since Henrik Larsson, go down Hooper, Dembele, Edward, I've missed 7 or 8 there. I don't think any of them could have done that today. And it's the quality of the goals, but also the way that he takes them that is reminiscent of Larsson, in it.
Yeah, and he's not trained in 3 weeks, right? The guy's come out, he's the hamstring injury. He's all over the place in preparation. Postecoglou's had the bravery and the medical staff just to throw him in. And that's the difference between you can have great strikers that score a lot of goals, and then you can have strikers that are above and beyond an echelon of the club that you're happy with, real top level strikers. And I don't believe Furuhashi's on a path whereby, okay, it's ridiculous to compare it to Henrik Larsson, but for £4.5 million, what we're seeing is just way beyond that. If we'd have spent £15 million on Furuhashi, you wouldn't bat an eyelid, because what he's doing is just absolutely incredible. He won goal of the Europa League during the week there, and I think there's more to come from him. What's brilliant about Furuhashi, he put on that 4-minute interview in Celtic TV during the week where he said he's not happy with what he's doing. He's not happy with the amount of goals he's scoring, and he believes he should be scoring more goals. And he's just a perfect fit for the club, and I think he will score more goals. Because, okay, he's 26, we're not getting him as a kid, and he's going to mature, but we're going to get him having his absolute peak years. Worst outcome is we sell him for a fortune. Best outcome is we get him right through to his early 30s and he's scoring a barrel load for Celtic. That was a defining moment, I think, in terms of his career for Celtic. Once you've scored 2 cup-winning goals like that, the only way is up after that.
Aye, absolutely. I think he is a perfect fit for the club, and a great quote from Ange after the game today that I saw just before we came on, talking about his fitness. Somebody asked him in the post-match press conference, and they said, just try and stop him playing the day. He says, if I hadn't picked him, he'd have snuck on the bus, or he'd have snuck onto the pitch. And that is you can believe that, because his attitude is impeccable, Kevin. But that second goal, just to talk about it technically, I mean, again, it's a great quick bit of thinking for Vogic to take the free kick. But as Kyogo always is, he's so alive. He's in between the centre halves, as he was with the first goal. But the ball's dead, it's a free kick, and he's still thinking, how can I make a run here where somebody can find me? And Vogic found him. But first time, I said this in the Twitter reaction, to take that first time, you see when the ball's bouncing through and the goalkeeper's off their line, you see good players make a mess of that all the time, because they either underhit it into his arms, and Matt Macey's 6'5", 6'6", by the way, or they overhit it and it goes into the stand. But the speed of thought, the speed of technique, and the speed that the ball hits the net, it's incredible. Yeah,
it's a combination of everything come together there, because he plays in that line so tight, and sometimes we get the break of it, sometimes we don't. But the pinpoint ball from Rogic, he has a quick look, Kyogo, to see if he can do it. Doesn't even think, I need to take a touch here. Goes for it, and it did seem to take an eternity to go in. But it just shows you what a kind of player is. And Kenny mentions it absolutely perfectly there. You know, that he has that elite mentality that he knows he wants to do better. He wants to do better for the club. He gets it. He's just so infectious that way. And as Kenny said, I think the only way is up with this man. But I know if rumours are to be believed, we're getting these other Japanese internationals, then if they ain't like Kyogo, I think we're on to an absolute winner. And what we've done today with Ange and what he's done, I think is the only way is up with everybody.
Well, that second goal, we'll talk about that for years. Honestly, I hope there's obviously, you would think, more to come for Kyogo in his time, however long it's to be at Celtic. But I think we'll talk about that second goal for years. This is live format, and we have a man in the match poll running. The 4 options are Kyogo, and Kyogo Furuhashi. So pick whoever you think was the man of the match in there. But Kenny, to move on for Kyogo in terms of individual performances, in that second half the game was open. Hibs had chances, they chased the game towards the end, and we needed our goalkeeper to make big saves, and he did that.
We did, yeah, and it wasn't just that save right at the death in the injury time. He made a brilliant one-on-one save immediately before that. He's been a revelation, Joe Hart. To think that rewind 18 months, it was a decision between Barkas and Joe Hart. It would appear at that point in time, and the fans are thinking we probably need to just go with Barkas because Joe Hart's injury sort of ravaged his career, seems to have come to an end. I mean, that was just a ludicrous situation we ended up in, because we ended up spending 5.5 million on someone who is a shadow of what Joe Hart is. And Joe Hart is not just good because of his performances on the park. It's so obvious what he's doing behind the scenes in terms of the unifying players. I mean, he's a player that look at it at the end when he's going round the stadium. It's so obvious that he's such an integral man in terms of the whole squad. I think actually it was probably, I would say he was at fault with their goal. That now, during the week, he didn't come off his line. They scored a goal from 3 yards. That was a high look ball in. He didn't come off his line again. So to give it some balance, I do think he needs to work on these cross balls. But my God, when push comes to shove and we're under pressure and we need our goalkeeper to turn up, he's turning up not just sometimes, he's turning up every single time. And in terms of £1 million transfer fees, I can't think of a better one. Superb, Joe Hart.
Aye, superb, Kevin. And you see at the end the scenes, the passion, as Kenny's talking about there, his role in the squad. You can tell that he's come in and he's a leader already. Obviously, he is experienced and he's won a lot in his career. He's played at the highest level out of anyone in that squad, let's be honest. But he's been massive for us, and that connection, again, I talk about the passion at the end of the game, the connection between players, fans, the manager, unbelievable.
It's all there. I mean, you think to, like, last season we were knocked out of this competition by Ross County, one of the worst performances I think we've all ever seen as Celtic fans, and then to fast forward to where we are today, you know, the passion that we have with the team, the relationship that we're building with the team and the supporters, the manager with the supporters, it's there for all to see, and it's such great scenes to see, and you know, it's such a great feeling today, because this was such a big game. It wasn't like a turning point or anything, but it was more that, you know, if we could just get this and keep the momentum going, you know, we got the late winner with Ross County, we now get the first trophy under the bag, now let's push on, and it's all about just trying to take it almost again, a game at a time. Now we move on to next week and see where we go. But, you know, it's a great day, you know, as Kenny said earlier, it's not about like playing well or whatever. Cup finals are about winning, and we've done that today.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear, by the way, but the scenes are definitely continuing down the stair.
Also slightly.
Aye, just a wee bit. Kenny, psychologically, this is something I asked everybody outside the stadium as well. Psychologically, this is huge for us. You talked about where we were in August and whether winning a cup could be like a yardstick for us in terms of progress this season. But again, psychologically for the team, I mentioned it at the beginning to Kevin, the belief and the confidence. Like, winning trophies is a good thing, and it'll only do the whole squad and the manager and the coaching staff of the world is good. Yeah,
because we were a broken team. I mean, if we'd have sat here 6 months ago, you're on the end of, I mean, you could argue it's the worst season in the club's history in terms of expectation, in terms of output. We've just lost Eddie Howe was coming in, and one of the most sort of sought after people in England. We'd lost him. Postecoglou comes in as someone who's completely unheralded. We've got a new chief executive who's since left. We're trying to sign 12 people. I mean, it was a complete mess. And there's one man above everyone that deserves credit, and it's Postecoglou, because he's pulled everything together. He's united the fans with the club. He doesn't have a permanent chief executive to report to at the moment. By the way, I mean that in itself is ridiculous. But he's ridden above all of that, and to put our hands on a trophy at this point is something that I would never have predicted, and that he as a man deserves huge credit for, because he's got us playing in a Celtic style. He's got us playing with box office players that we can be proud of. And he's got us going forward with a title challenge that, after today, we've got a far greater chance of following through, because we've shown the steel and the mentality, and we can take a trophy into the dressing room with guys like Joe Hart and Callum McGregor that can take us forward to the next level. And it's a brilliant time to support Celtic at the moment, because it was so hard just such a short time ago. If we'd have been feeling this way, we'd probably have thought if we'd been feeling this way this time next year, it would have been something to be satisfied about. To be feeling this way after 4 or 5 months of his reign is something completely unexpected. And Postecoglou deserves an immense amount of credit. And we've got another one back. Who knows? It might be a treble.
Aye, you never know. A stirring rendition of You Are My Larson in the background, by the way. Kevin, Ange, just a word on the impact he's had, the way he's galvanised this team, the way he's galvanised the club, because even in this 4 or 5 month period he's been in, there's still a lot going on behind the scenes that the fans are worried about.
Mhm.
There's still a lot to question at a boardroom level. But the impact that Postecoglou's had on this team, the way they're winning games, and obviously today a trophy on top of that. But he's united everybody, and even that stuff off the field. We've had some protests and stuff in the last few weeks or the last couple of months, but it's remarkable that a manager has come in and united the club the way he has, united the fan base, and got that connection between the fans and the players and the manager again. As Kenny touched on, for where it was at last season, the impact's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to say add anything to Kenny because he's put it absolutely word perfect. I think that's the textbook response, is what you would want. But to think he's came in on his own with no staff, nobody of his say so. He's had to inherit Gavin Strachan in his laptop, John Kennedy and Stephen McManus, people who we were calling to get out of the club. They're almost at a thing, well, we're content with them. I wouldn't say we're happy with them, but we're content with them. And for him to do what he has done, his first attempt when it took someone else 9 attempts to get a trophy, I think just shows you the mentality of the man, what he can do and what's to come. And as Kenny said, isn't it exciting time to support Celtic? We've got players like Box Office, but they get you off your seat. They want you to go to the game, and you know, future's bright is all I can say in it. And there's not really much else you can say. And you know, hail. You know?
see, just on the coaching staff there, right? The coaching staff get a lot of undue attention, I think, at times when things aren't going well. And I know that, like, a couple of them have been here a long time. John Kennedy's been here a long time. And when things aren't going well, they get a lot of stick. So only on the basis that we don't know what's going on, when things go well, they guys deserve credit as well.
Yeah.
Because they've bought into what Ange is doing as well. That, like, Ange isn't taking the training every single day. He said that in press conferences. Like, he's relying on the coaching staff. The coaching staff are buying into what he's doing as well. So the coaching staff deserve credit on a day like today. Kenny, just the last one on Postecoglou. I think what you've seen in the way he's conducted himself and a lot of the things he's said since he's arrived, we often talk about, does the manager need to be somebody who is a Celtic man or somebody who gets it? But there is no doubt in my mind that Ange Postecoglou understands the essence of Celtic. No doubt.
Yeah, because he's passionate, he cares. I mean, he speaks about his father. I was watching an interview with him during the week about how much his father impacts on him and how he tries to sort of instill that level of inspiration through his players. And I actually think he's quite a unique man. It's not often that you watch a manager's interviews and come away from it and think the way in which he spoke is something that inspires you. And he does. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt he does. Now, he doesn't know Celtic. He's not from Glasgow. He doesn't know really about Celtic's history. He's from Greek origin. He's been brought up in Australia. He's spent time in Japan. He knows nothing about Celtic. But when you're gritting your teeth and you're looking at the Celtic fans and you're pumping your chest because you've got an away victory late at night in Dingwall, you're not just doing that for show. You're doing that because you care. And the Celtic fans see that he cares. And I'm sure, above all, it doesn't really matter if the fans see that he cares. What matters is that the players see that he cares. And I can imagine if you were in a dressing room in Postecoglou, you'd run through walls for Postecoglou. And I remember, just before he joined, listening to people like Tim Cahill, experienced players that have played under him at national level. They love him. And when we were listening to that, you're sort of thinking, can this really be the case? I've never heard of this guy. He's come from obscurity. But it is the case. And fair play to the board for plucking him from obscurity under pressure. But we're lucky to have him, I believe. Now, time will tell. Let's not get too carried away. We've won the League Cup, okay?
Yeah.
If we only win the League Cup, and in another year's time we've still only won the League Cup, maybe it's not as good as it seems. Yeah. So let's hold judgment complete judgment for a while. But as it stands, from what he's inherited to what he's doing now, incredible. And a perfect fit for Celtic Football Club, it would appear.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that strikes me about him and everything that I've watched is that you can tell he's an emotional guy when he talks about his father a lot in terms of his impact and why he fell in love with football and how that was through his dad's passion for it. But Celtic's an emotional football club, and I think he embodies what the supporters are looking for in a manager, and I think that's vital. Yeah,
I mean, we all know what it means. You know, Ange just came in and adopted it almost, you know, as what he wants to do, and as Kenny says there, I mean, the way he was at Dingwall the way he was today. He is so passionate about the club, and he's got the club's best interests at heart. I think obviously time will tell whether or not it's the springboard onto better things, but it's the best way to go about it into this festive period, whatever this may hold for us in greater and bigger things. But to be sitting here tonight celebrating a League Cup, considering where we were after the 2-1 Hearts game, is just nothing short of incredible. And there's really not much else we can say here. We can be here all day, we'll say whatever we want, but Kenny puts it brilliantly every time we've put it about Ange. What I will say though is, we do need more backing in January to sort that out. That will get us over the finish line, not with that squad we have today, because we're still missing Jota. He would have been a key player today, and we still managed to dig that result out. But you still need reinforcements. We still need to go forward and back him. And I hope this isn't a case of, well, they won a trophy, let's not back. No, let's double down. Let's go for it. Let's back this man. This man knows what he's doing. Yeah. This man cares about our football club, and that's all we ask for. And if he can do that for us, then I'm all for it. And it's not always easy, but it's always worthwhile, and that's what we are. It's easy, not always worthwhile. It's always worthwhile being a fan.
We need to support them. What led to last season's failure is the last time we had a world-class manager, we never supported them. Yeah. We never support them. We need to support him. We've got something good here. Support him. Give him the funds, look after him, and he'll look after us. Because we're in the hands potentially of something pretty special, and we need to look after him.
Yeah. Aye. I couldn't think of a better note to end on. Kevin, you're saying there, could be here all day. I think plenty of people down the stair are going to be here all day and all night to celebrate. We have won the League Cup. It's great to see Celtic back winning trophies, and to have that connection that we've talked about throughout the course of this video. That's it for the post-match pint. Before we finish up, I need to check who won man of the match. It was Kyogo. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you during the week for the build-up to St Mirren. Cheers.